then
fifth line.
Gordon, where's design team defined? Should it be right there?
1.1.4.
Yeah, that's 6, right?
1.1.4. So
It says design team, and we're adding in parentheses, architect and their sub-consultants.
Right.
okay, thanks.
If we miss any in here, I'll go back over it tomorrow.
Great. Okay. Okay, got it. Now we're on to page 4. Is that right? Okay. Any comments on page 4?
On the side of the page, it says, we'll define the building as everything kitchen sink. Administration
What's
slash
going to
building
change?
slash
What's
plan.
the? Is there a specific change,
Yes.
or you just?
No, the first 2 lines have the building, so it's administration slash building slash.
Oh,
planning.
no, George said it wasn't necessary. That was just for the point of the rendering.
Oh, okay.
It's just for the
It's
visual.
administration,
Yes.
police,
Then-
and library, and then the second sentence, just repeat that.
Yeah.
Make them the same.
Oh, yeah. I got
so
flipped
the second
around.
part, it's a little
It's a reverse.
reverse.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments on page 4?
I have one.
Yes.
In 2.1.1, in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th line, it says, analyze adjustments, building, utility locations, and removal and replacement of heritage trees. Shouldn't it say, and protection of heritage trees?
Yes.
And the protection removal.
We're
You just
not-
insert the word protection. No,
Take
there are some that are going out.
There are, in the master plan.
There may be, but there's a lot more.
They
that
had
are being
identified
protected.
some that may go, when we voted to approve it, they minimized it, but there were some.
Yeah, but there's a lot more that are being protected.
Yeah, so just insert the word protection, right, before the word removal. So it would say, and the protection, comma, removal.
I think that if you read it in context, it's critical
Yes.
elements include the underground utilities, which should be analyzed for adjustments to building utility locations, comma, preservation, and it probably should be preservation and or possible removal and replacement of heritage trees.
Sounds better.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
good idea.
That's better.
Any other comments, page 4? Moving on to page 5. Page 5, there's a big one I'm going to jump ahead on. And 2.3.1, this is where you're going to talk about how many real drawings they're going to present with all these alternates. And it was a little bit, the way it got written changed a little bit from subcommittee, but the net is, you want, I thought what we agreed is you want 3 of the base plan, and then you want 2 alternates with the underground garage, so there's 5 total. Does that change any, given that we have that handful of alternates?
The way I read this was there's 3,
Correct.
of which 2.
That's not what
has
we
an
intended.
underground garage.
That's not what the subcommittee intended.
Good, so let's correct that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
So on the 5 alternates, ballistic sheathing does not need its own drawing,
So
okay?
it would be
The, with the lead, and it really gets into site planning. Will the site plan change for the green issues?
Well, it might if there's too many trees in one
If you
place.
had something like trees or a pond, it might.
It might.
Yes.
Will it change for the town hall, existing town hall? No.
Well, that was my suggestion.
I mean, the only change would be, does it open up and relate to another
It would
building or
change
something?
if the town hall was moved to be positioned actually next to the library. That could be a change, I mean, that's a possible
I
change.
mean, if the library is positioned next to town hall.
No, I meant actually what I said, because I don't think there's room to position the library here. I mean, if the town hall was moved over to the library, that would be a change.
You're talking about this
I'm not
building.
advocating it, but it's a
No, no, right.
possibility.
But either one, the library or this building, considering, could be placed differently because of the
Right.
underground water. So the water line.
That's right.
So I think we need to make sure that we get enough renderings because the library could be back here, folks.
And the question-
Pipe
Yeah, right.
going down the middle of the property.
And the question is, can they consider all the alternates in 2 additional drawings, or do they need more, and what's the number?
If you refurbish this building for use as the council chambers, we have as a council chambers, then you might, or probably won't need the council chambers in the big building.
Right.
So that would change its configuration.
Yeah, so how many alternates are we asking for? Drawings, so we have 3 for the base, and how many alternates? We want 1, my professional instinct is we need 1 alternate for an underground garage, not 2, but we may need up to 3 additional alternate designs to cover the alternates. Meaning you'd have 3 base, and then 3 that cover all the different variants of alternates, and you'd have 6 total designs. I mean, that's kind of a compromise, but you kind of get to, well, maybe one for the garage, and one for the council chambers, and one for a really advanced green/site amenities study that may be
But isn't there
incorporated.
one for on-street parking if we can't use the underground parking?
Well, you'd have that.
That's the
with
base.
normal,
That's in your
That's the
base.
base.
Mhm. That's one of your 3 base, you get 3 base plans, which have no underground parking at all. Which may be heavy, maybe more than they need. They may say, we don't really need 3, we want 2, but I think
Well, we wanna
6 would
make
cover
sure
it,
that
for sure.
Give the residents a
I
little bit.
agree with that.
Well, you'd think that if they
More
have,
choices.
the underground parking
Access,
proposal will
egress,
probably
all
be
that.
put into one of those bases,
Right.
but there may be some adjustment, so.
So another way to skin this cat is just to say, we need up to 6 site plans,
I think that's a better
considering the
solution.
alternates.
I think we need, whether it's 5 or there is 6, of which one will be for underground garage, one will be.
I don't think we have to specify it. We can just say we want, I mean, we could internally, but we could leave it loose for us and just say, you have an obligation to do up to,
Yeah.
whether it's 5 or 6 iterations of this plan.
I think it's a better
Yeah.
approach.
Mhm.
And then it gives us the bandwidth to say, we only want 1 garage, or we want
And
2.
then we don't
or-
have to do all the,
Yeah,
just make it
what
clear.
feels right between 5 and 6? Because we have to take them to the public. There's a flip side to this, there's a cost and benefit, right?
I think the public is gonna wanna see that we've
6.
considered those things.
Okay, so up to
Yeah, at
6.
least in the beginning.
So
But
when
I
could
guess
we
we
say
shouldn't
up
drive
to
the price
6,
up so high.
considering the alternates,
There's not a lot of work.
the base plan and alternates?
That
that make
but
sense?
really, isn't it 3 base plans
Well, it
with
could be
some
1 or 2.
modifications for the alternates?
We
Except
could,
one modification like this building or the library, those are big modifications.
I think, yeah, whole new schematic.
I
The
think you might
underground
need
garage
2.
is a big,
You might need 2 for the underground garage.
but we don't have to say 3 are the base plan.
No,
We might choose 2,
I think just go with 6.
but 6 total
But
is.
how do we know that they're not gonna pick their most expensive options and put those in these, instead of the.
Because we're gonna be meeting with them all the time,
And
this thing.
because
We'll
it's
never
budget
get-
driven.
And you're gonna talk to them.
No.
We're gonna
Paul's
say,
gonna-
She just wants to hear me keep saying it, doesn't she?
Okay, I vote for 6.
So it's up to 6
Okay.
unspecified.
Let me ask, in the sentence before, this should incorporate all additive alternates as necessary. Because ballistic sheathing,
We don't
Yeah.
need a separate page
Yeah,
just for
or
that.
as appropriate or
I
fair.
think that's good.
So say
Up to
for-
6.
just add the word as necessary. With the
Including-
previous,
Yeah,
and then architects will generate up to 6 initial concept alternatives, period.
yeah,
That's what I'm hearing.
yeah,
Those will be fun.
yeah.
I can't wait.
So that's 3 initials and 3
And they'll come,
alternates?
and they'll pitch it, they'll say, it's like with
That will be fun.
Cheryl and Matt, they'll say, we've combined some of the changes in,
We've added this program over
Yeah.
here. and we
Yeah.
can-
It's a practical tool, it's
Okay.
a marketing tool. at the same time.
moving on to page, any other comments,
I
page
didn't get what Gordon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
5?
If I, 1, 2, 3, the 4th line would now, it reads, development studies, period. This should incorporate all additive alternates as necessary, period.
All additive alternates.
As necessary.
Necessary.
Then architect will generate up to 6
Mhm.
initial concept alternatives, period. I'm sorry, no period, 6 alternatives for review with the CCAC and subsequent public presentations.
Got it.
Thank you.
Or
Yeah, good.
review with,
Good night,
well,
Jeff.
really with the project team.
Yeah, would it be the project team?
Yeah, that's true, it should be
Yeah.
project team.
Yeah.
Well, with the project team, comma, CCA, well,
That includes
CCAC,
CCAC.
you're part of the project
You
team,
can
so
call
that's
it.
fine.
You can call it.
That's why we need my own
Okay,
position.
moving on.
Okay.
Don't play with other programs.
Page, everybody okay, we're moving to page 6 unless anybody screams. Okay, page 6.
No, you answered.
Same thing in 2.3.2, there's that same thing with the number of alternates.
And then.
I don't know why it's
the output.
listed twice in the next paragraph, it's redundant, so maybe you can clean that up.
Okay, yes. fix that up
The
now,
output
please.
has to be cleaned up.
Yeah. 6.
So,
You got that?
I have a comment on
Yes.
this page.
Yes,
Under output,
yes.
the second sentence is, these alternatives, along with the results of the site and contextual analysis, will be presented in, it says a public workshop, I think it should be 1 or more public workshops, SN, because we previously talked about 2,
Mhm.
and it might be one, but it might be more.
Paul, jump in here, but I would suggest if we want to, let's specify a number. We can always, if you want to specify 2, 3, whatever, then they can factor that in. Because if we ask for more, they have a right to ask for more money. If we say less, we can ask for a credit, but usually credits aren't very large.
So where's the road show? Because that, we had a huge amount of discussion, yeah, sorry.
So-
So
I just wanted, just
You
to,
better read it.
am I,
Okay, so in
What is-
2.3.2, we say conceptual design public workshops 1-2 meetings.
1 to 2 meetings.
but if you want 2, public, we should call them in up to 2 or up to 3 public workshops.
I think we need to have 2, because, if
Yeah,
people
let's
can
do
come to one, it just is a better showing.
Yeah. At least 2.
We talked about this as a group last week, right?
I don't know.
The road show versus.
We talked about
This
it.
isn't really the road show.
We
This
did,
is
good.
the initial meeting.
Good, I just want to make sure, yeah.
No.
So 2 public workshops.
Yeah.
Great, fine, that answers you.
So but the output doesn't match up with the amount of plans we're asking for. Should they be, we're asking for up to 6, and the output is including 2 that address underground garage, and then.
He's gonna.
But that's all gonna be
All
changed
gonna
again.
be matched up, thank you.
That's all gonna be
He's
6.
gonna make it all consistent.
Got it, right.
Then just make sure you understand that, or I understand, architect will further develop up to 3 conceptual design alternatives with site and building plans developed sufficiently.
No, that's just 6.
But that, so that even in the second part,
I
you're
think
still
we
gonna
just-
have 6.
I
We're
think,
narrowing
no,
the
I think
funnel.
we just delete that.
Well, yeah, that was the question I
Because the sentence in the very beginning, architect will generate up to 6 initial concept
Oh,
and add all, initial concept alternatives. And
A list of pros and cons.
oh, this is after the outreach. Is this saying after your outreach, you're gonna start to refine it?
No, these output,
That's for the outreach, I think.
yeah.
Well, 2.3.3, Gordon, what are they getting at?
let's,
oh, because it says up to 3 preferred alternatives, it's 2.3.3, up to 3 preferred alternatives, including, that's after the
I
outreach.
think it's after
Yes.
the public outreach.
The public workshops are at the schematic design 3.2.
So they're going from 6 to 3.
Yeah, so the 3, yeah, yeah.
Stays as is 8.
Yeah, I
So
think
that
that stays like it
stays
is.
We should know by
Sorry.
April kind of.
Yeah.
And that's-
Narrowing that funnel.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, thanks for calling it out. No, I think we're all,
I think we're gonna see.
I'm sorry, I missed the.
so 2.3.3
You know, I didn't.
is the funnel, George called it the funnel, it's where we go from 6 to 3, so 3 is correct.
The applicant section down here where you're
So,
saying,
okay,
with you have 6, and then you're gonna narrow it to the 3 drafts.
so 3, yeah, so the 6 should remain, in 2.3.3, the 3 is the correct number.
That's right.
But in output, it should still be,
It will
because
say
they're
we'll
back to
generate-
initial
Right,
concept alternatives.
Because it's a
6,
summary.
Which is
And
6,
then,
yeah.
and then refining it down to 3.
Right.
Yeah, and then
So-
you
Gotcha.
funnel it to 3.
And that second
All
number
6
remains
should be
3.
presented to
The
the
public.
project
The public
team,
and.
and the public.
In
Yeah,
2
these
public
actually-
workshops.
And then they bring it down to 3 and they come back
Is
to
that,
us.
is that sufficient to have 2 public workshops?
I think in
I
this
don't know
maybe,
why not, if you
yeah,
have
it
to.
If
should,
we
yeah,
want another, we can always do, we'll
Yeah.
just
We
have
can
to
do it
pay
ourselves.
for it.
That's how we
Or we can do it ourselves like we
Do
did
it
with.
Right.
Right.
But we need,
But this
Two
isn't
major
really
ones.
the
We
big
really need to
outreach, this is just the
include-
initial.
2 that address
So
the
2 to
underground
5.
garage.
No, that's
Yeah,
out.
I think we need to just take
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that goes away.
what's that, Elizabeth?
In
I
the
just understood
output
that.
one, you know, where it says output.
Right.
So that sentence is gonna read, Gordon,
Architect will generate up to 6 initial concept
Right.
alternatives for review that include all additive alternates as necessary. These alternatives, along with results of the site and contextual analysis, will be presented in 2 public workshops. And then after that, it reads the same. Architect will further develop up to 3 conceptual.
Right.
Great, all right,
So
so
6
any other
initial
comments
workshops
on
and then 3.
page 6? Go, moving on to page 7.
By the way, let me point out for DD, 2.4.3, that's their effort at this stage for a cost analysis.
Yep, 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 okay.
Page
We could
7,
make it double size.
Yeah, it needs approved budget.
red. Okay, page 7, any comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
In the carryover paragraph, which is preliminary cost estimate,
Yes.
we say that they're going to provide, overall project cost estimate meets the approved budget, and that the costs will include construction and these other things. Should we have a sentence that says something like, some cost estimates may be conditioned on going forward with an applicable alternative? Because there is gonna be some cost variation whether or not one of these.
It says add alternates. In the second to last,
That's
if I'm
right.
right above output, it says add alternates.
So that would include the underground
Yeah.
garage, is what we're thinking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm, okay,
Yeah.
so if you think that's addressed on.
that's very clear if you're an architect, they gotta price it that way.
But I hope we'll be called out to us if we get to a point in this process that you need decisions.
According to
as to
the
whether we're
regulation,
doing
do a defined term,
this at all.
so you don't have to every time address the right thing.
Yeah, the conversation last week was that the underground garage was the biggest mover in conceptual design, so it would be decided then. All of the rest of the alternatives
Come after that.
at the end of schematic design.
Perfect.
Okay, moving on to page, anything else on page 7? Good, page 8. Wow. All right, moving on to page 9. All right,
So page
double,
Page 9 begins a problem
Yes.
that's recreated,
okay.
and it's in 3.1.8 where the word client is used. A copy will be issued to the client.
Oh, there it
cost
is.
estimate.
Yeah, they got rid of.
So this is
the other
obviously a
ones.
form,
Yeah.
but the client, is that
To
the
the town.
town's
Town.
cost estimator who?
Oh, is it the project team or who is it?
A copy will be issued to the.
We should say the project team.
Project team, again,
To the project.
that's what it's supposed to say.
So do a search and replace for that, because it shows up again in the second paragraph under that same one.
Okay.
And sometimes their owner shows up occasionally, and that's the town.
That's right.
Okay.
And same sentence where it says all consultants should, do we need to say
And
that?
actually, I think project team replaces client, cost estimator, and all
And the rest of the
consultants.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Great.
the project team, that's our side. If their cost estimates are shared with all their people, that's their responsibility.
So there's a couple of, there's one below, you're gonna,
Yes.
you'll do a global, great. Okay, great. All right, any other comments
Okay,
on
well, we've
page
got
9?
another, yes, 3.8, 1.8, this set with comments from the client.
Yeah, he's gonna change that to
Change
project
They'll
team.
change the project team.
And there's one in the next paragraph, it's
Okay.
set with comments from the client and consultants, that'll be project team too, right?
You see the next paragraph.
Immediately below the paragraph you just made,
3.1.
above, right above output.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so he's gonna do a global search of the whole document for the word client, and then update it. Okay, page 10, there's another one of those capital A architectural, it's just, somebody did a spell check, it was wrong.
I'm sorry, page 10?
Page 10, but the word architectural,
Oh, I got it,
it
yes.
should never be capitalized, it's just an error. Just
So 60%, 3.2.6, 60% progress current will be distributed to various department reviews?
No.
Yeah, I wondered exactly the same thing.
Who's reviewing this now?
Well, they can give it to the project team, that then becomes my responsibility, because typically our planning department and our building department are not part of the project team, but that becomes my responsibility to distribute it to them.
So that is departmental.
It is.
It just to note, it's going to them, and in the next paragraph, it comes to us. So that this is where they broke it down. They get the first shot to look at it, and then it comes to us. This is the one time where they did that, just to make sure that their needs were met, and
So you
then,
wanna, instead of saying CCAC, you wanna say.
well, they have already seen it. Everyone else has already seen it in 3.2.6.
Well,
What
you
about
could say
town
project team.
departmental? I don't even know what department.
Yeah, it's-
I need to define that.
Yeah.
And maybe, because it's not also, it's gonna include the fire department as
Oh,
well.
okay, well, that just, I don't know.
How about just internal reviews,
I don't know.
town internal reviews? Because that's what you're doing.
That could just be alluded to staff though, not
Yeah,
the fire chief.
Fire chief, right?
That's why we did it,
Yeah.
departmental, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys felt it was, but that, so the question, that's one. So what do you guys recommend on that one? What would it say? You would define departmental as staff and appropriate regulatory authorities?
I have a note to define it. I'll list the actual departments.
Okay, and then in the next paragraph,
Would be
would
when we're there,
CCAC
it's
stay
gonna
as
be
CCAC that's very specific to us, or would it say project team?
It should say project team.
Okay, You might do a global for CCAC and see where it shows up. And is it just, or will you always just call it project team? There may be a time when it doesn't make sense. to do
There
that.
may be times when you're gonna be doing certain things
Okay.
that don't involve our work
Right.
necessarily.
Okay, then the next paragraph, just to call out, just as a highlight, the next paragraph, 3.2.8, that's the roadshow. If anybody says, that's when we go out to the public. That's when we don't just go to Holbrook
And
Public.
and I would call it up to 6.
Yeah, up to 6, yeah. So they don't say we just budget for 4.
We use 6 plus 3 general, so we did 3 general.
We had 2.
meetings. Oh, 2 general.
It was
meetings.
2 general, and
It was
then
2.
then they
Okay, so
refined
up to
it.
6, that's good.
We take 6 designs out for 2 meetings, we refine it to 3, we work on it some more, and then we go back out for 6 more neighborhood meetings.
Now, this is a place, in Paul, overstepping, this is a place that if you wanted a rendering other than a computer-generated one, you now have enough specifics. I mean, they may not have had their palette of materials, but they could, you could make some assumptions where a rendered drawing, an artist's drawing, might give you something different, possibly better, than a.
And this is a single
Right.
idea, it's not multiple, this is the proposed project, this is kind of the
I thought the
unveiling of.
roadshow had 2.
3.
Well, this says the schematic design.
If we're confused, they're gonna be.
No, the one before had 3, it funneled down to 3. I think the way this is written is there's one design. We've now decided on a garage or
The
not.
schematic design.
Mhm.
So,
Which begs the question of when.
When did it happen?
when do we pare it down from
Exactly.
3 to 1?
Who picked
Wait,
it?
how did
So
you
that
get
came back, what came back there where we paired it to 3, they presented 3, and then
Right.
let's go back and see what it says, because that's
I think
the
I
game.
think that's in 2.4.1
Page 6,
and 2.
yeah. So that's
What's
back
that
on
word?
page 6.
Go back to 2.4.1. So
Right.
right above that, you've had 3 conceptual designs.
Right,
Now to 2.4.1, they'll prepare a preliminary concept plan.
And just to go back to 2.3.4, just to see it, right?
Right.
In this paragraph, it says, one concept or a combination of several concepts will be identified for further development with appropriate comments. At this point, the final
exactly.
decision will be made as to whether the alternates. Well, actually,
Whether the garage.
which alternates? I think you'd say which alternates.
But it's not just what, it's really the garage, because there could be some other alternates
Right,
that aren't.
There's the
Yeah,
site
yeah,
planning
decision.
upgrades, there's the green building upgrades, there's a bunch that are gonna
But you don't have
affect
to
the
make that
site.
decision now.
That's right.
You're gonna wanna,
Conceptual for.
No, then you can make that
schematic
decision at the
drawing.
end of conceptual design.
Sure, they could decide.
Right
on
now, you gotta make a
paving
decision on
versus
underground.
concrete.
yeah, so you'd wanna word it in a way that the ones that have to be cited by then are decided.
Well,
Which is
I think
underground
that's what.
garage.
Which is
Is it just the garage? You think that's the only one?
Yeah.
Okay, you agree with
That
that?
affects the
Okay.
structural.
All right, stay.
So where are you gonna put that?
It just stays the way it is, it's the way it's
there
worded.
already, output.
So at that point, you've made a decision, go or no go.
You're down to one real plan.
Right.
Which one?
2.3.4, we've put, and that's when we've finished conceptual, and now they're taking that conceptual and they're drafting it.
so
They're
did,
meeting after the 2 conceptual to tie this up.
Yeah. Say that again, Dee Dee?
Well, we have 2, I guess we have
Six then.
3 things going out to 2 public meetings.
6.
6 at the very
Six,
beginning?
then we get down to 3.
Then we get down to
Two.
But we
3.
don't,
So we go out with 6.
Yes.
Right.
We get a bunch of feedback, the architects come back to us with 3. They say, here's what we heard in those public
Okay, So
sessions,
there's, right.
and here's our 3, and then we haggle, talk, and we say, this is what we want you to do. And they come back with 1,
Right.
and maybe a little bit
And it
more.
looks like you take that to the council.
Yep.
Yes.
so we don't do any public
Which is
feedback for the
2.2.4.
the second 3 options?
Later, no, the 3 options don't go.
That just comes down to us.
That's
Correct,
after we
we make
decided.
a call,
Right, I
that's,
got you.
that's,
With the
That's
that's
preliminary,
where the
with the
discussion.
budget.
So that's a question, George, that Walt just raised indirectly
Plus or
as a
minus,
statement.
It's just this change.
Right.
What's
So-
that?
What we're not doing is, we're not having 6 to go to the public,
Mhm.
and then going back to the public with 3.
Right.
And so we just,
Is that the way you want to go?
that's the question, yeah.
That's the question.
Or do you wanna go to the public with 3 alternatives?
No,
Well,
I think
we're
if we
really
go
going
back
to the public
we ought to
with-
go with 2.
We're really going to the public with 3, and then there's some alternatives on separate designs that could be melted into those 3 in different ways.
Yeah, but I think the caveat is you're doing those 3 in one public workshop, come to the park, come see, versus the HMC model of going out in these neighborhood meetings. By the time we get to the neighborhood meetings,
The road show's
You
only
got
got 1.
You've got one,
or do you want 3?
but it's expensive, it'll cost a lot more to
Well,
continue
I think the
3
roadshow
all that
needs
way.
a couple at least.
2 maybe,
Yeah,
and they have to be defined with cost.
right, right.
I think we want an alternative. You don't want to say this is the plan.
No,
They'll
I-
say,
I agree with
You
that.
got to,
I
yeah.
think
You're
there's
also
a-
gonna get feedback from people that's gonna make small changes to both of them, you know, you're gonna.
Right.
I mean,
So
you know,
in 2.3.4, we want to say, we want to clear that it's not one concept, it'll probably be, or a combination of several concepts. It's a little bit confusing what that would mean.
Mhm.
But is it 2 concepts? So we went from 6 to 3 to 2?
Just 3.
It's really 3 concepts and then the add-on.
Well, we start with, that's 2.3.3, but 2.3.4 talked about then drilling down to 1
Right.
concept.
Well, how come the output says 3?
Well, because it's a summary of everything else.
Further development.
Yeah, no, that output is
You know,
missing.
Something
It's all
tells
down
me
the
that
bottom.
the road show should have 2.
Mhm.
It should
Only
be a
2.
fairly, you know, the public's gonna get
Refined.
very
But it-
confused, I think, if we have a lot of stuff.
But you're talking about a second roadshow after we,
No, the concept
The
is-
first is 2 meetings, I don't call that a road show.
okay, all right.
The road show is up to 6, it says,
Yes.
right?
And this
Right.
roadshow was pretty late, because it was,
That
my fear was the roadshow was too late. That it came after the design has
I would agree
been.
with that.
The benefit was, we know what the budget is, and we're not taking something to the public that we can't afford.
And I think.
The negative is, we're pretty far into design, when we go out with one design to the roadshow. It's more of
Well,
a
I'm
coming out
thinking the
party.
road show should have 2.
I
At
think so
least.
too.
Yeah,
But should we do it
maybe-
earlier, though?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so we should go from 6 to 2.
Now, what will the architect have at that phase?
Some pretty big.
Because now we're
Somebody tell
talking,
me who's on first.
now we're talking about bringing back up that 6-meeting roadshow to
Earlier.
earlier in schematic
Yeah.
design, so they're not at 60% yet.
So 2.3.4, on page 6, where it says 1 concept, it will say 2 concepts, right?
That's what I'm
2
understanding.
concepts will be, and get rid of or combination, will be identified for further development with appropriate comments. At this point, final decision will be made as to the underground garage.
That's
Blah, blah,
right.
blah. Okay,
That's right.
so then they're gonna, now in the next conceptual thing, I guess it goes here, they're gonna refine those 2 concepts. They're gonna come back to us, the project team, do you like it? If we like it, then those 2 concepts go on a roadshow, right?
With money attached,
With some preliminary pricing, yeah. Mhm.
because I think that could be part of our
So-
sales pitch to people.
Yeah.
Do you like this for that, or do you like this for that, and here's
Yeah.
what you get.
So then really, subtask 4, rather than draft concept plan, is draft alternate, or 2 concept plans, however you want to say it.
Essentially.
And 2.4.2 and 2.4.3 can stay the same, but 2.4.1 has to address there being 2
Yes.
plans, not
Yeah,
just
and-
1.
You know, again, before I jump in, the incremental cost of getting that second plan at this point is,
Nothing.
you
That
know,
was my
it's,
question.
you know, $10,000-$15,000. Compared to the construction cost,
Nothing.
it's trivial, but it gives the council and this committee
Right.
and the public something to work with.
And
It's
then-
a marketing cost.
So, or 2.3.3 really should say 2. So 2.3.3 should say, architect will present drawings for 2 preferred
Instead of 3.
alternates.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Otherwise, because you're going from 6 to 3 to 2,
Right,
it doesn't
right.
make any sense.
Right.
Then Paul, you're gonna move 3.2.8
And then we
all the way up to
road
this
show.
section.
Yeah, and then the question is, what happens in 2.3.4? What's the point of it? What present?
So there'll be 2 preferred alternatives, including site plan, presented to the project team in a workshop environment. So
Where are you
that-
now? Where are you
that's 2.3.3,
at? Uh-huh, right?
and then
And then,
it just defines how they're gonna do it. Presentation will include pros and cons.
okay, so it's a
pros,
continuation
pros
of
and
it.
cons. And then, here's these 2 folks, pick one, and it either includes the garage going forward, or it doesn't.
No,
So are those?
I don't think we're doing it yet.
options,
I think, we're not gonna do it then. We're gonna go to the public.
Okay,
So that's it, that,
We're gonna help Dee Dee raise some money.
though? I mean,
Okay,
is
but
that
wait,
good?
if the budget, at that point, if
Yeah.
it already looks like the underground garage is driving us out of the ballpark, then I think we need to have two alternatives that don't have the
Correct.
underground garage.
that's right,
That's right.
Okay,
That makes sense.
Right.
that's right.
all right?
Well, it doesn't matter for the architect, because, you know, they're gonna give us two alternatives.
That's right.
And it's our decision whether we want the one, them to refine the one with underground garage or not.
Right,
So
so,
both of them will either have the garage or they won't have the garage. We will have
Right.
made that decision.
Right, right.
So, but let me just focus everybody on this, because I want to think this thing through. So, here we've come down to two concept plans, and we go out with our road show to the 6 houses throughout the community, and we get feedback from people. We still don't have the final plan. So then, we're gonna come back, we're gonna take that feedback, we're gonna digest it, we're gonna work with the architect, we're gonna work with the project team, probably come back to the council, and we're gonna choose a final plan. Are we gonna go back out to the public with another 6 house meetings?
I think it is.
We've now got the final plan, what do we?
No, Rick,
Well,
what I
okay,
see is
but-
there's 6
We-
plans. We have 2 public meetings just to give people a chance to come because their schedule is busy.
I
They're
get
identical
I
meetings.
get that.
They're not iterative, it's just.
No, they're identical.
Okay, and then we boil it down with the architect to 2 plans. We do the road show. We go to the pub, we go out to all the neighborhoods, Lindenwood everywhere. Then there's this whole thing going with fundraising to say, what can we afford, what do people like? Then we have 1 plan. That gets refined and it's presented to council, I think. And that's, the presentation's in a council session.
Well, can we leave it at that
It
point?
could be a
If we have had an
co-op.
overwhelming response, say we've had a lot of people, which for this town to find that, I don't know, we can, we'll see what it is as we go along.
Right.
If we have a lot of people interested, then I think the council may have to meet twice, I hate to do it to you, or do it at the park, but also do it at 2 times to make sure you get
Yeah.
people back again, just to say, here's our plan,
Well,
At a study
so
session.
Here's our plan,
I think,
folks.
okay, so you're going to where I was going, which
Yeah.
is, I think once we get the plan, we have to have a public meeting, at
Absolutely.
least one,
Yeah.
where we bring anybody that wants to come and see it.
Yeah.
And it's not the meeting at which the council approves it, it's the meeting at which we're really launching kind of the roadshow for getting those people who are investing it, you know, less than $5,000. I mean,
Yeah,
this
that'll
is
be
to get
public
everybody
part.
involved.
That'll get the public part of the.
This is that participation
fundraising.
piece of the outreach that goes
Right.
beyond.
That's the meeting where you say,
And
this
so
is
that
it,
should be
folks.
a
Going
special
once,
meeting
going
that you
twice.
don't have any other stuff.
So I think we've got to go back out to
That's
the
the
public
Senate
with
piece.
that.
so is that
Okay.
2.4.2, where it says the next presentation, which will be ready for review by the project team, followed by a public presentation before the town council?
that's already in there.
Yeah, that's there.
The town council one's in there.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
No, I
But should it say,
No, I think
Public.
that's.
by a public
Public
presentation
presentation.
before the town
Public.
council?
No, I think this
Or in
is,
front of it.
I think this 2.4.1, 2, and 3 is all dealing with the 2 alternatives
Okay.
that are left.
Mhm.
And we're now moving on, and I'm not sure how much of the 2.5 we need in here, maybe we need it all, I don't know.
That's a different.
But we need to move up
Yeah.
the public workshops piece, which is 3.2.8. Once we've got these 2, they've gone through the council, we've agreed, okay, these are the 2, we're gonna go to the public with them.
Roadshow.
Then we do the road show.
And
So-
then there's a decision
Yeah.
amongst the 2, and then there should be a council meeting specifically to discuss that alternative.
To approve it.
All right, so, too many voices. So after 2.4.3, then you're gonna add 3.2.8.
Yeah, that's gotta be.
Say that again.
Okay.
The road show moves up
or
on
another way-
at the end of 2.4.
Because you might also want schematic design with public involvement.
Well, we'll get
In which
there. Well,
case-
let's just work through this.
Can we do a quick
concept.
time check? Because what I don't know is, do we have to define, we have to end at 6:30?
I'm leaving now.
Okay, so I just want to do a check-in with everybody.
We need to
And clear, yeah,
continue this.
Continue, and the question, and clearly everyone wants to be part of this, and clearly this isn't just gonna get handed off to staff or a subcommittee, and it's not gonna get approved. And so, one thing we're gonna need to look at is the schedule. And because we moved the interviews back into January 9th, is there a way to accommodate having another meeting of this whole group without materially changing the back end of the schedule? But do we next meet on November 3rd?
No, can we meet this
No,
week and get this
but
thing done?
tomorrow.
There's not enough time for staff to actually.
Well, can't we just pick up where
Yeah,
we left off?
To finish going through
I
this,
think we can just, it's a continuation to continue going through the
This
process.
discussion.
Yeah, and,
I'm not expecting you guys to spend all night working on this.
I hate to be picky, but
the notice,
Yes.
we need 24 hours to
Well, no,
notice,
it's a continued special meeting.
Yeah, can we continue the meeting?
so we don't
if
have,
you
they
need
have
24 hours for that, or is it less than 24 hours okay?
Technically, you're on board.
So we gotta go Wednesday.
So it's only, so it's only 4:30.
4:30 tomorrow, come on, guys.
how about on Wednesday?
Wednesday, would have to be Wednesday.
What about,
if it's in the morning, that'd be, I can do it in the
I
morning.
could,
Okay.
11,
We have a 4 o'clock.
earlier,
Yeah, we have a full.
Earlier
Or
would be great,
noon.
I've got it.
I can catch it in progress then.
Can we do it at noon?
Yeah,
11?
I can't do it.
11 would be,
I can do it.
I can't.
No?
no,
Who,
No.
not at all.
okay, who prefers
No, I can
morning?
do the- yeah.
Raise your hand if you prefer.
What day?
Who can be
What day are we
available
talking
on
about?
Wednesday at all?
Wednesday?
Who's available at all on Wednesday?
I'm
Wednesday,
available in the afternoon.
afternoon.
Afternoon?
Yeah, my grandson's having surgery.
Okay, well, that's important. Okay, so but the general feeling was afternoon. And so what time in the afternoon do people want to start?
Can you
Like,
do it at noon?
I can do it at 1.
At 1?
would,
You want it after.
if we started it later, could people not do it at like 3 o'clock and then have it be?
Time of the Giants play.
So we have a 4 o'clock.
Okay,
Fine.
so let's,
You have a 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
so let's
4
meet at
o'clock.
3.
5.
Oh, you have a 4 o'clock?
We have a 4 o'clock, and
What time did you say, Dee Dee? An hour's not enough.
is 1?
1 to 3?
3 to 5.
1 to 3?
You can't do it 1 o'clock?
Let's do 1 to 3.
I could be back at